boy Malik here, and I am back. Oh, it feels so good to be back. But before I even go on, can we all take a second to give Erin Stevie a hand for stepping in last week? Can we give her a hand? She was awesome. She was awesome. Erin, if you ever want to come back and give me another vacation, please, come on back. Come on back. Anyways, guys, it is week 4 of stage 2 here at the Overwatch League, and the playoff implications are heavy. You're getting ready to see every map matters. And you know what? To be completely honest with you guys, I really wasn't supposed to be back this week, but I felt like I needed to come back so I can see the Seoul Dynasty and NYXL play in person. Anybody else excited for that match? Oh yeah. Well guys, I'm ready to get this thing going, so let's go ahead and get this payload moving.
Welcome back, everybody. Make some noise, Blizzard Arena. This is week 4 of stage 2. I'm Chris Bucket. I'm back. Golden Boy, thanks for filling in last week, but I got a whole crew with me today. We got Sideshow, we've got Crumbs, Zoe back on the desk, and we are gearing up for a fantastic way to kick off week 4.
Welcome back, Bucket. How's your vacation? Your nice care? You got a little car now?
Yeah, I got hooked up, man. I went to Vegas, won $104. I got a new vehicle. Life is pretty
Wait, did you
darn
pay
good.
for that vehicle with $104?
I did pay for some insurance. It's the only way you're allowed to drive here in California. Let's talk about today and, of course, our overall standings here as we kick off week 4. So far, throughout stage 1 and a little bit of stage 2, it's all NYXL. But the Seoul Dynasty, they struggled at the end of stage 1. Look where they're at now. Second place, followed by London. You look at stage 2, though, you'll see in this stage in particular, there's one squad moving up the ranks. It's our purple team, the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Yeah, LA Gladiators right up at the top there in 3rd place. Nobody would have expected that after their performance last stage, but they've got Fisher now, and that is a huge upgrade for the team.
Looking forward to today's matches. You heard Malik hyping it up already at 6 p.m. Pacific. We got the NYXL taking on the Seoul Dynasty. We're closing it out with the Fusion versus the Dragons, but it all starts right now with Boston versus Dallas.
Echo has killed 2. That is enormous.
Really well executed by Dallas. And now the pressure is on.
It's not even surprising anymore to see Dreamcaster perform on any hero.
A solid attack run for Dallas as well. And he managed to get that one.
It's all too easy for this man. Dreamcaster still got the blade. He's still raring to go.
Dallas fuel.
Oh, boy.
So fired up for this one. Let's get right into it. Sideshow, both of these squads struggling so far in stage 2. I think a lot of people, after watching them in stage 1, thought, all right, now's your time. You've made some improvements.
Yeah.
Let's take off. But these teams off to a really slow start.
They're slumping at the moment, both Boston and Dallas, but this is the opportunity for one of these teams to grab a great win that can set them up for explosion throughout the rest of stage 2. Dallas have kind of fix a couple of their problems perhaps, or have at least some clear guidelines moving forward. And when you look over at Boston, they've either 4-0'd or not 4'd everybody so far this stage. So it's going to be a blowout one way or another, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in case you've been living under a stone or up in a treehouse, such as Sideshow has been moving in recently, you might have missed the news, but Dallas Fuel and XQC decided to split ways. It was a mutual agreement, but that doesn't mean that Dallas is now left without the main tank. They still have Coco. Brand new, fresh, mint condition, barely used. So he could be showing up on stage today. Or we're going to see Taimu again, who has been switching to the main tank role earlier in stage 2. So they have plenty of options still to fill that spot.
And I think when it comes to XQC, Custa really hit the nail on the head here, where it means why they got rid of him, because he's playing the main tank. It's a role that relies on a lot of consistency. Everybody has to rely on you. You're the main guy. At stage 1, he found a way to get himself banned. Same in stage 2. So all the effort that they put on practicing and making things work with him just didn't pan out. So moving forward, now the Dallas Fuel can hopefully pick up some stability, much needed, because if they don't start winning now, making playoffs at the end of the stage 4 is not going to look good.
Yeah, we've seen Taimu on main tank. We've seen Mickey taking that Orisa role, but I want to see what they're bringing to the table today for Dallas. The same question goes for me for Boston, though, because if you were watching the previous 2 weeks, Kalios has been in the lineup quite a bit.
Yes, Gamsu was away for a while, and so they brought in Kalios, typically an off-tank, who was playing main tank for them. And he filled in pretty well, actually, but now they've got Gamsu back. This is the guy that was so lauded as an excellent main tank for this team, so crisp with his decision-making, very cerebral player.
I mean, this guy was so good that when Mr. X was asked who would you have as your main tank on your dream team, it was Gamsu as the #1. So we were all very just wondering what happened.
Yeah, no gesture, no fissure. He wanted Gamsu. That's a lot of hype and a player to look out for today. Are you guys ready to kick off this show? Let's put our hands together and make some noise as we welcome our first team of the week. It's the Boston Uprising. Striker leading the charge today, and this squad enters the match with an 8-8 record. But so far, we mentioned it, the struggles in stage 2, just 2-4 after their first 6 matches.
And as we already mentioned, Gamsu has been sick, took some time off. He's been in Korea and only just got back on Monday this week. Now, Kalias, who was fielded in his stead, did a great job, though, filling in those big shoes. And when I spoke to their coach about how this has changed the way the team played, he said that they generally changed the style a little bit, played a bit more to their strength, and kept it simpler. And that worked out great.
Yeah, so now with Gamsu back in the lineup, I want to see them return to the really crisp play that we saw from Boston Uprising back in stage 1. I think Dreamcast has been struggling a little bit, and that's why they've been running a bit more Mercy to keep him alive on these aggressive dives. But Striker is playing as well as he ever has done. If they get back that clinical timing, I think Boston will be a great team again.
Not only do they have that timing, though, as well as the fun little pre-game banter between the players, but the fact that now you've added mistakes to the DPS lineup, I think offers more depth to the team. In stage 1, we thought this team was very one-dimensional. Now they started implementing more players, more strategies. Hopefully Kellex wakes up, or
he's doing some
meditation. Yeah, you gotta, I mean, that neck posse, though.
There he is.
That hurts.
He's waking up. Here's a look at the full 6-man crew. If you're going to highlight one player, who's the guy, Sideshow?
It's got to be Striker. That guy just performs no matter what. Even when they've been losing, he's been incredible.
All right, keep your eyes on Striker for DPS. It's time to find out who will they be playing against in game #1 as we welcome our second team. It's the Dallas Fuel. Dallas, such a deep roster today. We find out who they'll be fielding. Custa coming in on support. Chips looks like he's back in business. The squad's 5-11 overall, 2-4 here in stage 2, and most recently, they're coming off that reverse sweep loss to Florida.
Yes, they were able to come back, rather not come back, but not seal the deal against Florida. But this is likely to be the lineup that we're going to see from Fuel from now on until their new additions arrive, which it's refreshing because a lot of it comes back on their old NB ways with the addition of AKM being included.
Interesting, they put Custa back in the lineup alongside Chips Hyen. It was Harry Hook making the support line work for a long time in stage 2. So they've got a slightly more vocal caller there. AKM and Effect both being fielded as well. Tells me they're going to go for slightly slower soldier-based competitions on Volskaya. It's a good plan for that map. We'll see if they can carry it on throughout the series.
Is Mickey the biggest star in the Overwatch League? I feel like he always gets the biggest applause when he enters the stage. Taimu getting a lot of love from the fans today. The tanks will have their work cut out for them.
It's just so hard. Oh, no! It's just so hard to not smile when Mickey's around you. I mean, this guy is an aura of positivity that I have personally never met somebody that is as positive as this guy. It almost hurts.
It's a great start for both these two teams. A brand new week, new lineups being shown. Let's see what they're bringing to the table. Zoe, Dallas, who's your player to watch for this first game?
Oh, it's got to be AKM. Ever since he showed up in stage 2, he's been dishing out that damage, and he has been very, very consistent in his performance. Now that they are looking to have more stability in their roster, I think that really gives him more space to shine.
It looks like our players are gearing up. They're getting ready for this match. Before we kick it off, I want to hit you guys real quick with predictions, starting with you, Sideshow. Where does this go?
I think this game is going to be incredibly close. I'm still going to give the edge a little bit to Boston, but I think Dallas could definitely take this one, even despite their issues.
Well, that's very different from what I got here, Sideshow, because Boston has been 4-0ing or 0-4ing. So I think that right now, up against a weaker opponent, they're going to be 4-0ing here.
Zoe?
I think I'm going to give the edge to Boston. I very much hope for a very close game, though.
Who here in the venue's cheering on our Boston squad to open this one up? All right, we got a few Boston. Who wants to see Dallas take this? Time to kick off our match. We got our casters ready. Let's send it backstage. It's Monty with Doa.
Hey guys, thank you, Puckett. Doe and Monty here to get things started with Boston Uprising versus Dallas Fuel. It's already week 4 of stage 2. Wow, it's moved so fast.
It has. We're really narrowing down on those stage playoffs that will
Yeah.
finish next Sunday. So pretty exciting stuff there. But Dallas Fuel, I'm interested to see which compositions they are going to be running, because when they played against the Mayhem, it was Rascal in on Volskaya, but now it's going to be AKM and Effect. So probably some Widow Tracer,
Yeah.
which is very different than their last composition, or some Soldier Tracer going to be coming in. So Boston may have had a difficult time trying to prepare for this match, and we've seen a lot of interesting compositions from the Fuel. Last time they ran a lot of Roadhog for Taimu at Diva for Mickey as their only tank pair. So really trying to focus on outputting a lot of single target damage, getting those picks, and with Custa in as well probably means a lot more Mercy.
Yeah, well, that's interesting too. I mean, seeing Custa and Chips paired together, that's not something we've seen a whole lot of from the Dallas Fuel yet. Odd to see kind of Harry Hook out for now. But then again, you know, you got AKM to play that soldier if you want to, so. And dare I say, he's a pretty good soldier player.
He definitely
He's not
is.
bad.
He is a top-tier soldier player, and
Yeah.
for the first round here, it will be the Dallas Fuel on defense. Looks like it will be the Soldier Tracer combination. Chips on the Zenyatta.
Right.
And Custa on the Ana. So Ana comes out a lot of the times on defense. You see more Mercy on attack when you're running the Widowmaker Tracer. But for now, pretty standard composition here for Volskaya, concentrating on handling the high ground and getting damage down over the point, with the mobile tanks able to respond to any high ground attacks. Now, Boston has been running quite a bit of Soldier Tracer recently. And also the Widowmaker Tracer, pretty big emphasis. We saw it on attacks for both A and B in their previous match.
Well, time of leaving his mark on the dome there as Boston comes out. They're going to see the Fuel's flame. Will they extinguish it? That's the question as Boston Uprising getting ready to begin their first attack here on Volskaya Industries. These guys are 2-0 on this map so far in stage 2. So coming into it, looking pretty strong despite an overall kind of weaker record this season, or this stage rather.
On the maps today, it has been Uprising really emphasizing Widow Tracer. They're going to come in and at least try and open up the point using those sight lines and the range advantage from that Widowmaker.
That Dreamcasper taking the high ground. Now he's got to force back Dallas Fuel. A couple shots coming in from AKM. Gotta be careful here. Like you said, those tanks from Dallas trying to protect, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. Taimu and Miki coming in to get 3 kills and send Boston packing.
Yeah, you can't commit to a fight like that with the Widowmaker. You don't have the sight line. Moreover, that was an excellent biotic grenade from Custa to keep both of the tanks alive. They weren't harassing the supports at all, so free healing onto the bio-grenaded tanks, and Dallas Fuel able to outlast the Boston Uprising on that high ground. Need Dreamcasper to make a play, get an elimination before they can really engage, because they don't want to be fighting around that soldier. Nano boost now down onto Taimu.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to be doing a bit of zoning himself here. Ooh, he gets stuck with the pulse bomb. Stayed alive though, didn't take a whole lot of damage from that. That couldn't be healed. Now Effect being sneaky on the side here. Gonna try to get on the sports as they come in. Neko taking some damage. Effect has to back away. Now onto Dreamcasper immediately throws out the bomb. No kills out of that one. Meanwhile, AKM does find Kellex with a headshot. He's gonna drop to the low ground to get a bit more healing from Chips High. With that Transcendence, and so far so good for Dallas in this fight. Yeah, Note has to get out of there. He's gonna get demeched on the way, and Dallas again holding strong. 2 minutes left on the defense for them.
Oh, that's a late kill from Dreamcasper to Custa, though. They're only gonna have one of their healers available. Striker also falling late. This is going to be Boston, though, waiting for an opportunity before Custa can make it back, but it's not going to happen if they keep getting picked off.
The staggering is intense right now from Dallas. Gamsu falling late again, and Dallas, okay, they use that attack visor, maybe, you know, didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but they still do have some ultimates to try to use efficiently. But Boston coming in with a wealth of their own. They got to get something going now. Taimu going to pop that Primal Rage to just zone Boston back a little bit more. Oh, he's getting aggressive here, coming in, taking a lot of damage before it runs out, but it's all about burning time off of that time bank right now. And Dreamcasper, though, answering with a kill onto AKM. Dallas short-handed here. Can they get the res in? Maybe no, there is no res. Never mind. Now they get the trance instead from Chips, just trying to keep himself alive, but that's going to leave Custa. Oh, he totally missed with the pulse bomb. Oh, that one hurts.
Custa still getting taken down, though, and it looks like Boston will be able to take the point. AKM was in a non-ideal position. He was outside of the point on a long sight line, and that's where he was found at the start of the engagement by Dreamcasper. You can't put yourself in a long-range dueling situation with that Widowmaker, so bit of mispositioning there on the low ground allowed Dreamcasper, who was playing the low ground the entire point, to find the headshot, and that's the snowball. Chips is going to swap over to the Sombra now. It will be surprisingly AKM on the Genji.
All right, yeah, gonna bring that one in. Not opting to have Rascal in the roster to play that one for them, on Volskaya at least. Dreamcasper still trying to find a few more shots. AKM down already. Dreamcasper finds an early kill on the push from Boston. They've got about 4.5 minutes here. They're gonna try to take this one fast. It's another kill for Dreamcasper. Now Custa cut down. Taimu, meanwhile, or rather Gamsu sleeping on the point, but Dallas kind of pushed back out here for the moment. Striker gets the D-Mech onto Mickey. Things are looking pretty rough for Dallas Fuel right now, but Neko coming back from the Mercy res. Can they keep the momentum going? They've got 2 ticks already. Chips taken down, got the EMP up, but there was no follow-up from Dallas. And they are in a lot of trouble. I think it seems like it's only a matter of time now.
They did pop the EMP Doa, but they targeted the only person they could at the time, which was Neko. So Neko sent back to spawn. Taimu and Mickey still holding on to this point, and Chips coming back with the Sombra. Dallas starting to get the respawns in. They do have 4 members alive.
You're doing what you can there. There's a self-destruct from Mickey. That's going to buy Dallas a little bit of time anyway, but Boston already back on the point anyway. Gamsu going to go Primal Rage, and it's more like a Primal Celebration as that is going to be Boston finishing their attack with 3:33 on the clock.
It ends up being a pretty fast point A and B take. It took Boston a while to get rolling because they need the kills from Dreamcasper to continuously run the Widowmaker pick composition. Otherwise, once they got those kills, some overcommitments early on, but once the kills came in, they knew what to do. They knew how to follow up and play aggressively on the point after that. AKM, a player who was practicing Genji on the ladder before being picked up by this Dallas Fuel team, but overall in the history of his Overwatch career, not known as a Genji player.
True enough. So let's take a moment to listen in with Boston as they took point A.
Trace is on the right side, I know.
Then one.
Monkey's still coming in, I'm a Monkey.
Okay, one.
Okay, one, we can go. He's like, okay, let's push up. Soldier's far right in their spawn right now.
Okay,
nice, I'm pushing it. I'm pushing point, push point.
I'm backing. I'm coming live.
Diva. Oh, Monkey now? Okay, they use chance.
Well, there you go. What would comms be without someone yelling monkey, 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 right?
Well, you see them though, yeah, exactly. It has to be part of the Overwatch League communication at all times. But
someone's designated on each team to yell monkey continuously throughout the entire game.
But I really like what we saw from Boston there. Very calm communication, clear. And they noticed that AKM was out of position on the right side on the low ground. He wasn't going to be able to deal damage on the soldier at that range. And that was the opening they need. They called his positioning. Dreamcasper immediately turns the corner, picks up the elimination, and that turns everything in the Uprising's favor.
Sure enough. Dallas Fuel on the attack now, going for a bit of dive here. They've got a bit of a mountain to climb as well, as there's a lot of time in the time bank for Boston. A fast attack on A would be a great start. Dreamcast, we're gonna take a look at what Dallas has. Take a chunk out of Taimu as well.
They're gonna play dive with AKM.
Oh, yeah. Wow, the swap onto the Genji from AKM from Dallas.
Well, they're not going to be able to play Soldier here with that Widowmaker. It would make things challenging. I'm surprised to see Custa on the Lucio, too. This is where you would think Harry Hook would be in the lineup. I figured they might be using Custa's Mercy to power up AKM's Widowmaker on this attack, but instead they're going to try and play the dive.
Yeah, that's right. Onto the point right away. A little bit of a dive in the high ground. AKM has to back off and get the health back. It was gone already, though. He's going to have to settle for the healing instead. Dallas being careful, not careful enough. Effect down. Neko got him as he tried to invade the back lines.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of this push now. Two members already gone. Mickey desuited and eliminated. AKM trying to make it back towards his spawn right now. Will be harassed by Striker on his retreat.
Taimu falling a little bit late there too, so that's going to be a bit more time that it's going to take Dallas to get the next push started.
Dreamcasper here damage boosted effect,
effect.
with a late tossing himself off the map there.
You'd think that was a reset, but again, more time off the clock already for Dallas.
Communication seeming to be an issue right now, but they were going to have to wait for that Infrasight to go anyway. Too risky to play into a damage-boosted Widowmaker, so it's not going to cost them too much time in the end.
A high ground attack on the Dreamcasper goes down, looks for the health pack, got a little bit low there. Chips did get the kill on the Neko, though, in the Zen v Zen battle. Trying to take chunks out of Custer now is Dreamcasper.
He'd be more delicious if he was custard.
Chips and custard, it just sounds delicious, I don't know. And Boston, meanwhile, on the defense, there goes Effect, he ran right into it. Ooh, that hurts. Oh no, and Mickey catches Dreamcasper. Didn't quite wait for the self-destruct, he mistimed it. AKM pulls out the Dragon Blade, but no kills out of that one. Doesn't matter, Mickey going to work though, but they do lose Custa.
Note's gonna get resurrected and get back into his suit right now. Gobsu pursuing the point, has the Primal Rage. He's eliminating Chips right now, pushing him back and forcing the Transcendence.
Yeah, Effect, oh wow, he was down to 5 before he got the health back. Escaping now, Mickey with another D-Mech. There's the Transcendence for Boston. Immediately running back into the room though. Taimu goes Primal Rage. Gamsu a bit low on the side. He's zoned out for now. Taimu's just gonna push everybody off the point. That's 2 ticks already. Dallas nearly with the take on the point A here. Mickey D-Mech, but it may not matter a whole lot. Taimu has to be careful, needs a bit more health. Gamsu got healed up at the end of that, but there's the sound barrier now for Custa. Mickey back in the mech just in time, and Gamsu a bit on his own. Custa with the kill on the Dreamcasper as well, and that's gonna be a pretty blazingly fast point A for Dallas.
Well, they have 5 minutes left, Doa, but Boston did an excellent job of stalling that out. They forced both support ultimates in the end and got more time. They faded away with a Valkyrie there, and they nearly have their Transcendence back as well.
Yep. Meanwhile, the attack on the point B already, and Gamsu takes a bunch of headshots. He's down. Striker a little bit of trouble. Has to recall out of it. Effect escaping as well. Taimu down, so both Winston's out of commission. Meanwhile, Boston cleaning up the point, and Dreamcasper onto that McCree now for a bit of protection against the Genji Tracer.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dallas Fuel, they knew that was going to be an economy push. They knew they were heavily behind in the support ult race. So force out the Valkyrie, try and work your way back up to a double support ult push. Boston should be staying strong here for another attack or two from the Fuel.
That Dreamcasper back on the Genji now, certainly more of a comfort pick for him. And Taimu down already, man. Striker found him, and that attack is already done for Dallas. Yep. Back off now. AKM lives, but just barely. Dallas regrouping. They've got a decent amount of ults now. They're actually nearly up at 6. If you're going to make any big push, it's going to be in the near future for Fuel.
Well, because of the forward defense by the Boston Uprising and picking off Taimu, focusing him with that Orb of Discord early, they have managed to save their Transcendence, but that's a good one. They force it out now.
Yeah, Neko pops that Transcendence, had to stay alive somehow. Effect backing away. Trance on the Dallas side too. Dragon Blade coming in for AKM, trying to cut away through these high health targets, through the support ultimates. No kills. They do get the sound barrier now into Dallas Fuel though. Gamsu down, Mickey finishing that one off. Taimu trying to keep people bottled up in sound spawn, but he's got no health. He gets taken out, and Dreamcasper with that Dragon Blade is on cleanup duty. Janitor Genji now.
He is, and man, Gamsu played that beautifully. He completely denied AKM's Dragon Blade with the Primal Rage, made it so he was never in position to kill any of the lower HP targets. And that means that Dreamcasper was able, once they approached the point, to kill AKM with a Dragon Blade of his own. And as you say, play that cleanup janitor job. Striker now, the only ultimate on the side, needs to make this Pulse Bomb count.
Yeah. Oh, that defense matrix out. He's waiting for it to go down. Gets the kill on the Chips anyway. Who needs a bomb? Well, that one helps. Taimu down already. Dallas Fuel's attack stuffed yet again. Down to 2:25 on the clock for Dallas Fuel. See ya, Mickey. Gonna take a short walk off a long factory. I think that's how that saying goes. I'm pretty sure.
Classic idiom.
Yeah, there you go. Take a short walk off the robot factory.
Oh man, this is looking really good for Boston. They survived the push when they only had the Pulse Bomb, took advantage of a kill onto Taimu, and now they're coming back in once again with a Transcendence and a Valkyrie.
Yeah, things are looking okay for Boston. No doubt about that. Dallas needs to make some real progress here on the point. Not even a tick yet. And they need to equalize just to stay in this map. That's a couple kills that might help them do that. Dreamcasper and Gamsu down already. Full support ultimates used on the side of Boston. AKM coming in, had the tac visor, pushed everybody back. Kellex back to safety, 1 tick for Dallas. They've got 1. Looks like they're gonna get 2. Can they get much more as the respawns come in? Effect lobs that pulse bomb in, doesn't get a stick though, does draw out the self-destruct, but Dreamcasper back with the Dragon Blade. The kills coming in for Boston, and somehow Dallas may still drop this one. Uh-oh.
That started with a big mistake from Boston. Gamsu went too far forward, got caught in Mickey's self-destruct. But even then, the response is, okay, we'll dump both of our support ults into this. We will let you have 2 ticks until Gamsu respawns. That's when we can fight you on the point. We still have the Valkyrie up and available to follow Dreamcasper with the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, now less than a minute remaining for Dallas. They need to take point B right now if they want to stay in this map. They're going to go ahead and use the sound barrier as they come in. Chips falling immediately. Both sends out of the way. Another pulse bomb for Striker. He finds AKM. That's huge for Boston. But the kills coming in for Dreamcasper as well. And Dallas will not be taking this point, man. You need more than just Effect around. That's going to be a problem.
If Effect gets staggered here, a few extra orbs. It's like from the high guard. Those were actually shurikens from Dreamcasper, nearly taking him out. Dallas has 1 attack left.
Oh, Effect. Pulse bomb on a Dreamcasper. They've got the advantage here coming into it, numbers-wise. But another Valkyrie for Kellex. They've still got the Transcendence for Neko as well, and the kills already.
KM punted backwards.
The right side of the screen for Boston, and this is going to be a take with ease, it looks like, or a defense with ease, rather. Goodbye, Taimu. Dallas not able to take point B. It's going to be the Boston Uprising coming out on top on Volskaya Industries.
That was well coordinated by Boston overall. They struggled a bit to get off the blocks on their first attack, but once those openings were created, that's when they struck all at once, and they even let Dallas have those 2 ticks on their point B defense, so they knew they had an opportunity to regroup as 6 members and push Dallas all the way back off the point.
Yeah, really solid defense by Boston on point B, and it's a big match for them right now. We will see if they can keep the momentum going on the control map when we come back right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
The Boston Uprising take the first map of our first match of the day, and they are up 1-0. Next up, we have Lijiang Tower. Now, Lijiang Tower is the control map, and for those of you who don't know, this is a little different than the traditional escort or the hybrid or the assault maps. There's no payload, and it all comes down to team fights and raw skill. So for all you noobs out there who aren't aware, this is what control maps are.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Control. Teams fight over a single point. When one team reaches 100% control, the round is won and the location changes. Best 2 out of 3 rounds wins.
Hey, there you go. That's Control. Best 2 out of 3.
Now we know.
Now you know. Did you know that?
No, actually, I didn't.
Me neither. Hey, we learn something new every day. There you go. Control map, our second map type here between Boston Uprising and Dallas Fuel. Boston looking pretty solid on map number 1. Volskaya Industries going pretty easily their way.
Well, I was critical at the start of this stage of Boston going away from dive, which they showed pretty extensively in stage 1, and over to this poke style of composition where we have the Tracer and the Soldier 76 together, the Tracer and the Widowmaker, trying to finish off some long-range damage. And they were slow to start out on Volskaya, and they are playing the Widow on the low ground, which I think over-prioritizes enemy positional mistakes. But once they found some of those against the Dallas Fuel, they were able to really get rolling and follow up as a team. And we got to listen into that team communication. You could see how calm it is. There's a lot of space in their comms to call out targets if somebody does get low. They really have decluttered it pretty well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over on the Dallas side, it just didn't seem like people were really on the same page for a lot of that map. Taimu ended up going in pretty early in a lot of those fights, dropping quickly, and it just seemed like Chips and Custo were a little bit out of sync as well. So I don't know. I'm not so sure about Dallas here today, but hey, there's 3 more maps. Things could change. Both these teams are 2 and 4 in the stage right now, so see it going either way. This is a big match for Boston too here as we get things started on Night Market. Boston in the Overwatch League overall right now is 8-8. So this match today kind of determines if they are a winning team or a losing team overall in the league thus far. So I certainly want to keep that one in the positive, you think.
And we are going to have mirror compositions. Soldier, Tracer, both of these teams have preferred this style of comp on Night Market, so right outside of the point itself, we are going to get a lot of early poking and attempts to charge ultimate and pick somebody off.
That's the plan. Boston taking a bit more of an aggressive stance on the point here.
Working their way over to the point slowly, so that means that Dallas are going to have to flank around the side and try and push them off.
Oh, bold of Dreamcasper to take that fight. He's going to get jumped on a little bit. Echo down already. Dreamcasper going to get the D-Mech onto Mickey, actually. Dallas jumped onto the point, but Boston falling back pretty carefully. And it looks like they're going to retake it. That was a double boop, I think, from Kelix there on the side. And yeah, just a really good measured retreat from Boston, and they're going to get the control percent rolling early.
Yeah, Custa pitching himself off the map just to reset. But that was a great read from Boston. They knew Effect was going to be on the outside of the pagoda in the square in front. So they collapsed on him first and then caught the rest of the Dallas Fuel's aggression on the point itself. They will start building up that control percent.
Dallas getting halfway towards flipping the meter right away, but AKM taken out easily as Note jumps on him. Now Custa in a lot of trouble here. Boston coming out way ahead in this fight, almost before it even begins, and that's a lot of low health members of Dallas running for the hills. They're not going to make it. There's no hills here. It's just buildings.
Yeah, Note also did get demeched, but he is going to have plenty of time to reset. Runs all the way back and pitches himself off the high ground, so he will be back for the next fight because Mickey did die a bit late.
So good start for Boston Uprising, near 50 control percent already here as Dreamcasper dashes back towards the point. Some good shots on a Taimu, and Kamsu pops out Primal Rage, takes out Chips High and early, and now the rest of Dallas. You don't want to be on the outside of this point against a raging Winston. Kamsu knocks AKM off the edge. Goodbye, Custa. Kamsu pops in the window with a fist to say goodbye. And Boston holding again. They have made this look easy.
Gamsu, so good to see him back. He is the star player of this Boston Uprising roster. He is the rock that they need to win some of these matches, and you can see the amount of space he makes for the rest of his team. Striker tries to hit with a pulse bomb, playing around the mega health back, but he's going to get too low to control it.
Yeah, that's about it. Dallas with an opportunity here. They're going to use Transcendence to go in. Sound barrier on the other side. Striker with a lot of shields to work with here as he tries to chunk down Mickey. Mickey getting a bit low. Dream Casper sitting on that ultimate for the moment. Note fell, so Dallas with the man advantage. Now the attack visor for Dream Casper. Can he stay alive? The healing trying to keep him up, but he has to back away. Very low health, but he gets Effect. Oh man, Effect runs right into the end of that tactical visor, but Dallas does flip the point during all of that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because Effect will be respawning faster than Dream Casper on the Soldier 76. So Dallas Fuel, they have to use everything they've got. Taimu will be having a primal rage in this next fight, but he's got to be efficient with it. Otherwise, they're going to run into a lot of problems. Gamsu will be matching him in terms of ultimates.
Now Striker getting sneaky. Well, Reed's joining his team now. He got to play it safe. Meanwhile, he's just going in, man. They're diving. There's the stick on the Taimu. Oh, they got him. No primal rage for Taimu. He's not going to build it this time. And Gamsu with another kill as well. Striker does go down. Gamsu with his ultimate, and he can use it now again.
Gamsu
caught on the outside of the point.
Gamsu.
And it's a massacre. Gamsu with a couple kills with that ultimate. They will flip it back easily.
That was an optimistic primal rage if I've ever seen one. Came in a player down scenario, but he manages to make it work, and now he's forced out the sound barrier.
Custa comes into the window with the sound barrier. They don't prevent Boston from flipping the point back. We're into OT. Custa gets electrified. And not in the exciting way, kind of in the fried way. Gamsu down. Mickey, though, nearly demeched because that pulse bomb he is popped out now. And Boston getting kills on the outside of this fight while Striker controls the point itself.
That's it, Doa.
And that's going to be Night Market going to Boston.
Impressive work from Boston. Every time it looks like things are getting hairy for them, that they're going to lose control of this point, they have a great idea of their limits, how far they can go based on the ults and positioning of their remaining members. And they dragged out a match on Volsky, and they drug it out here on Garden, or on Night Market rather, and we are going to be going to Garden next. Both teams do like to play Pharah on this point.
That means that Dallas needs to win on this point to stay alive here in Lijiang Tower. Like the little video said, Monte Cristo, it's a best of 3, which means Boston could win it right here on our control map. And it's going to be Pharah v Pharah, AKM taking on Dream Casper, and we know Dream Casper is one of the best Pharahs out there right now. Gotta be careful. Concussion grenade eaten by Mickey, meanwhile. Echo down already. Mickey's been so successfully aggressive with his Diva. Oh, that's a one hit. On to AKM, getting low. AKM ducking and dodging, trying to stay alive. He doesn't have the mercy. Oh, goodbye, Chips. Zen can float, but he can't fly. And Dream Casper trying to finish off his Pharah counterpart now. Looks like it will be Dallas claiming the point first. The thing is, if you're Pharah, yeah, you can rain a lot of death from above, but you can't take control points.
No, you can't, and so Dallas starts to build up this control. Casper is not going to swap off just yet. They're still feeling confident. Mickey opened up this point with a couple of big kills.
Yeah, Gamsu down. 1 for 1 already. There goes Neko. Dallas holding the point for the moment here. Oh, goodbye. Striker sleeps with the fishes, or at least the holographic fishes anyway.
He's gonna go for that. He is, in fact. Recall back over.
Recall.
I'll get that final little bit of damage onto Dream Casper.
Let's pad those stats a little bit, you know?
So right now the Fuel maintains strong control over the point. Dream Casper is not switching up off of the Pharah. It is difficult to retake if you're on that Pharah.
Sure is.
And they're going to try a different approach. They're now going to come around the backside of the point instead, have some cover there, so they're not going to get booped up. But the barrage is coming in.
Yeah, but AKM gets flown right into by a Node. That's going to stop a lot of that damage. Striker, meanwhile, going to work. Striker a little bit low. Effect coming around the side. Gamsu body blocking though. Striker has to, or Effect rather, has to back off to that health pack. Now Chip's in a lot of trouble. Mickey the one who falls though. Effect is trying to tangle with Gamsu as they try to flip the point back, and they finally will. So 71% for Dallas, but Boston taking it, and crucially, taking it without using a lot of ultimates in the process.
And not using the Transcendence even at the end of that fight. Neko's control over the Trance, his patience has paid off in this match versus the Fuel so far. Dallas has 70%, but they're gonna have to mimic the feat of the Uprising with taking this point with just a sound barrier if they want to on this engagement.
Yeah, Dreamcasper looping around the side here. Maybe setting himself up for a barrage, we'll see. Has a lot of pressure from that other Pharah, AKM. Gonna take him out in case he tries it. Nice rockets down the corridor for Dreamcasper. Dallas gonna have to come in with the sound barrier. Transcendence in response. AKM in a lot of trouble. Oh, he gets the charge, but no! Dreamcasper gets the air-to-air rocket to finish him.
Gamsu dies with the Primal Rage up to a Pulse Bomb, though.
Could be a problem, yeah. Striker looping around the back. Trying to fight Custa. Back on the point right now. Chip's in a bit of trouble. Kellex finishes him off. Striker waiting, there's a nice stick. Gets the kill onto Custa. Mickey caught with some of that damage as well, and Boston will hold, nearly equalizing Dallas in control percent.
Late Primal Rage. Neko and Kellex working together as a unit, though. They are staggering their ultimates for the support, so every time they've got something to use on this defense, they've got to make work with this Transcendence from Chips. He's going to use it first.
Yeah, well, they get a kill out of it. Neko drops early.
Chips is knocked
knocked up
during
by
the trance.
Gamsu. Gamsu, man, the king of environmental kills here on Lijiang Tower. They need more. Affected Mickey striking back. There's the self-destruct for Mickey. Can he get back into the mech? Looks like he can, and yeah, Boston starting to reset. They're going to go ahead, and it looks like they're going to let Dallas have this one for now.
Well, they're going to try and contest this. They've got 4 members on their way back right now. Effect stays alive in the duel versus Striker, the crucial factor that allowed them to flip.
Yep. 94% for Boston Uprising. Dallas getting close to there as well. Remember, they need to win this round to stay alive in the map. Pulse Bomb takes a big chunk out of Kellex, in effect there to finish him. Another stick on the Taimu. Ooh, that's a problem. Effect backing away. Mickey out of the mech one more time. Taken down, there goes Effect, and they're gonna roll in with the Transcendence. Mickey fighting for his life here. Striker goes in with the melee finisher, and we're into overtime right now. But Boston flips it back, and they are close to 99.
They are. Taimu has to jump in, but he's gonna die. No Primal Rage to keep him up.
That
Can
may be it.
AKM get back with this Genji? He's gonna try and make it over, but he's moved off. Denied.
Note zones him out, and that's Boston Uprising taking our second map 2-0.
Great poise today from Boston. This looks much more like the Uprising that we saw in stage 1. Cool, calculated, focused on their cohesion and their teamwork.
Yep, that is right. Boston, a bit of an uprising here, maybe in the last couple weeks of stage 2. Who knows, but it's a good start so far against the Dallas Fuel. Dallas going to be scrambling to come back in this one.
See if they are going to bring in any substitutions at halftime. We saw Rascal for all 3 games after half in their loss to the Mayhem.
You know, where's Harry Hook as well? Maybe we'll find out when we come back, guys. Halftime in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
It's halftime. We're still in the first match of the day, and so far it's all Beantown. They're up 2-0 as the Uprising lead the fuel at the half. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett. I got the crew. It's Sideshow. It's Crumbs. We got a lot to talk about here. It's Boston looking very strong. Gamsu back in the game, and already you can feel his presence. But we already talked about the tanks. I want to talk about the Tracers here, Sideshow, because we were watching the mini-map, and it seemed that there's two guys always in a constant battle.
Yeah, we always talk about the Tracer duels, but rarely do you see it as obvious as it was on Volskaya. And I think it beautifully highlights how important Tracer is. So I've got an insight powered by Intel to bring you here that will show the effect, if you'll pardon the pun, of Tracer duels and how they play out. So this is Dallas Fuel on their opening defense, and the guys to highlight obviously here are Striker and Effect, the two Tracers. And you'll see that Striker is looking to make a move up here so that he can come across and try and flank through to the point. Occasionally he also tries to make flanks around this way so that he's able to get onto the back line of the Dallas Fuel. And Effect is going to try and man mark him a couple of times. So he does it about 7 times. So take a look at both of these guys fighting it out, and they are just playing their own little mini game at the top of it. First, Striker gets a good start, then Chips gives Effect the Harmony Orb. They do battle again, neither of them feeling like they want to properly retreat from the battle. Striker gets the better end of it here, forces Effect's recall. Striker goes for the large health kit, but Effect gets a Bionic Nade. They're still dueling out, and eventually it comes to the end. Now I'm going to rewind this a little bit and just show you what was happening later on in the games, because although Effect got the better end of it here, Striker over the course of the map did far better. So what happens is that eventually Striker gets a lot more damage out onto Effect, and that forces Effect to go back to his backline and receive heals. And this was happening all the time on point B. And what that does is it allows Striker to go all the way around and pick off people who are too busy trying to heal up Effect. And you see this all throughout the fights that they were happening on point B. As Striker pushes people back, Effect has to go and play with the rest of his team, and he's still doing damage, but he's not able to get these massive individual picks that Striker gets. Striker went 15-4 on Volskaya with 8 kills on the supports, and as the game continued, he just got better and better in these individual 1v1s. He was just dominating them.
And it's pretty amazing to watch too, because if you have Effect always looking at Striker, that means Gamsu and Note, those tanks, aren't going to be just getting torn through by Effect. Very nice stuff coming in from Boston. Crumbs, as we were watching it, though, it wasn't just the individual play and the one-on-one battles that were going on here. You mentioned that the whole Boston team just seemed to have a better macro play. What does that mean?
Yeah, they look a lot better, right? So micro is the decisions that you're making as an individual, whether when you reload, when you use your blinks, all the things that the individual can make. Whereas macro is all about the team positioning, how it factors into the objectives and working as a team. And Boston did a really, really good job here, especially on this second point. So one of the things that we see a lot of the top teams do is stall out points just to the very end. And this looks like Dallas is winning it out. But Boston does not give up. They're going to commit really hard on this defense to make sure that they force out the Dallas Fuel key ultimates. They get the sound barrier out, and if you take a look at the top corner right there, Kellex now hit his Valkyrie, and Neko hit his Transcendence. And this is very important because for the second point, this is a very snowbally point, and now that they have the ultimate advantage, they're going to be able to just stifle this push from Dallas Fuel because they were able to stall out the earlier point, build more time for their ultimates, and simply use the Valkyrie to get the defense going. And otherwise, had they not contested, there would be no Valkyrie, there would be no Transcendence, and this point could have easily been snowballed by the Dallas Fuel. So it's a great heads-up play from Boston to stall out the game, and it just shows the understanding of knowing which are the fights that you have to win and which are the ones that you can just stall or give up.
What's more impressive there, watching Gamsu just distract 6 players from Dallas Fuel at once, or the supports who were keeping him up throughout that?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? The fact that they've got the teamwork, but also that they've got a grasp on the ultimate economy, like Crumbs is saying, and they don't just blow the Transcendence and the Valkyrie as soon as they get them up.
Well, not only understanding the ultimate economy, but we actually see them, their second point and the defense in Volskaya, they play to the point even better. So they understand that they can use ticks to simply as a measurement of time. So they actually stall out the point right here. You see that Dallas is coming in hot with a very strong push. They pop the trans, they're committing, and look at what Boston does. They haven't given up a ticket. Sure, they have a lot of members, but they're just waiting it out. They gave up 1 tick, they're going to give up 2 ticks and a little bit more, and then they regroup. They go for a fight where they know they can win. They start blowing a lot of ultimates. You've got the self-destruct with the blade, so you're distracted if you're trying to get away from the Genji. And giving up ticks, while it might seem awful in this situation, allows them to win the fight, which is just very impressive from this team. So much composure.
It just seems like the team is back on track, and this is what you were hoping to see if you're a Boston fan. Now, Boston is up 2-0, but I do want to hit on one more thing we saw in Game 1. That was AKM trying out a new hero. We know Dallas, they have to go back to the drawing book and try and pull out some new comps. Today we saw the Genji, and when you compared it to Dream Casper, honestly, it looked like AKM, he was wearing gravity boots here. He was stuck to the ground.
He really was. He looked very uncomfortable in terms of the movement. And this is a brand new hero. When people think about the best Genjis in the world, they've been playing it for years, honestly. And a lot of them very young players that have like picked up Genji as their main player. And so he didn't have the best performance on Genji. Now, when we look at these statistics, Soldier 76 always ends up getting more hero damage than Genji, and AKM is a fantastic Soldier 76 on Assault, obviously played more as well, but the stats really just highlight that this was a poor performance on Genji and not a star level.
Right, and he only played for 6 minutes and 12 seconds. It's not a full 10 minutes. It's not a huge sample size, but we just wanted to point out the impact not felt as much as what they're used to when he's running that Soldier.
I like how we have different poses for both his players. He looks a little bit different when he's playing the Genji.
He looks like he's got absolute dripping with confidence when he's on Soldier.
Yeah, and then the Genji is like,
he's got the
just
swag.
like straight ahead.
Well, we saw him on Pharah for that second map. We've seen him on Soldier. We've seen him on Genji. What do you play AKM on in the future? You're down 2-0. I feel like you can't take too many more gambles in the second half if you're Dallas.
Yeah, I believe they've got Hollywood coming up next. That's a bit of a difficult map to run Soldier 76 on. So maybe you sub in Rascal for this one, see if he can run some Sombra or Genji.
All right, Dallas is down 2 at the half. Can they bring it back and force a tiebreaker Game 5? We'll find out in just a few moments. Kings Row is coming up next when we return.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Uprising are up 2-0 on the Dallas Fuel. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to believe that Dream Casper is like the final boss of Lee Jang Tower Garden. His Pharah just terrorizes everybody. He's definitely the final boss. But anyways, guys, we still got a whole nother half to go. Can the Dallas Fuel pull a reverse sweep off? Let's find out right now and send it back to our casters, Monty and Doa.
Thanks, Malik. That Pharah is indeed terrifying. Maybe Pharah Rising? Is that like? Can we do that? I don't know. That's a stretch.
That's a stretch.
Even for me, that's a stretch. Well, guys, it might be a bit of a stretch for Dallas as well to come back in this series. They are down. Thank you. I thought it was pretty good, and you had to interrupt it. It was going so well. We've got a sub, guys. Kalios coming in for the Boston Uprising, and what hero is he good at, Monte Cristo? Refresh my memory.
He's a great Zarya player.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And what map are we going to?
Kings Row.
Oh, what do you know? Zarya's great on Kings Row.
Weird that we might see Kalios substituted in.
Who knew?
On this map, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the last time we saw the Fuel play this map, they went with Rascal on the Junkrat.
Right.
Rascal is not going to be in this time, so we may just see some more Soldier Tracer, certainly viable on basically any map that we have in Overwatch. You look at Dive or you look at Soldier Tracer, and these are playable compositions on almost any map type. And the last time, though, we did see, you mentioned this when we were chatting, what did they play last time?
They played the Bastion on Attack last time, which is interesting. Yeah, they did go for something a bit unique. It didn't work. It looked like it might work for just a second, but then it all kind of fell apart, and they swapped to something a bit more normal. But you never know. And despite Dallas not getting a lot of wins in the books this stage, or really in the league in general, they have been fun to watch because they do come up with some really creative stuff.
Yeah, and they try and use niche strats, and this has always been in this team's DNA ever since they were envious and doing very well, winning tournaments in Korea and in the U.S. And that's been what they do. They try and be inventive. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, we're specifically discussing a Mei wall boost on Attack in Kings Row that let AKM on a Bastion try and get into a great high ground position. Wasn't successful in the end, but it was fun to watch.
That's right. And when you go back and you talk about that envious DNA that these guys have, of course, being made up a lot of that great envious team that we used to have in Overwatch, one thing I felt like that team always kind of excelled at was maps that had payloads on them. That's certainly where they tended to look the strongest. And to a certain extent, you know, when you look at how Dallas is sort of shaken out, they've done pretty well on Escort. You know, Hybrid, yes and no.
They got bullheld by the Mayhem on Kings Row.
I was going to say, if it's got a payload in it, though, traditionally, you feel a little bit better about this team, but I'm searching, man. I'm scrambling because it's been a really tough season for Dallas, both in the game and outside of the game. And you know, if you're a fan out there, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, your sports team can have a bad year, but that doesn't mean they're just always going to be that way.
Unless you're certain sports teams.
Unless you're, yeah, there's a couple sports teams I can think of, but you know, but hey.
Sorry, we don't have any Cleveland Browns Overwatch teams.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No Cleveland-based teams.
That's right. Do you think if there ever is a Cleveland Overwatch League team, they'll just pick like a different color for their team? Like the Cleveland.
They could go with the Cavaliers colors. There.
What about the Cleveland Crimsons?
There you go.
That sounds okay.
That sounds pretty good.
Or the Cleveland Chartreuses.
No, that's too much. I'm sorry.
No?
You have to go with the Charlotte Chartreuses. Clearly, no.
The Cleveland Flesh Tones. No, I don't know about that. That'd be odd. That doesn't work.
So we'll be a more standard defense. Effect will not be playing that Lucio. He'll switch over to the Tracer. So Widow, Tracer defense is what I expected on Volskaya, at least on the attack with the Mercy as well. This time they are going to be trying to take those Widow duels. Boston has interestingly played Pharah Widow on attack on A, and there is a Torbjorn turret spinning around on a chalkboard.
It's the deadliest turret I've ever seen. Can't even get close to it. All right, so yeah, will be the Widow defense for Dallas here on point A. Meanwhile, Striker bringing out the Widowmaker for Boston as they go on the attack here on Kings Row. Boston trying to win this map and close out this series.
Boston's been loving these poke compositions. Likely to see the Diva on attack and the Zarya on defense if they're running Kalios.
Oh man, he's coming out aggressive, and Gamsu already finishing off one kill for Boston. And they are looking good already. Man, the tanks moving is such a tight unit right now, and Dallas having a real hard time adapting.
That was a pretty large positional mistake by Taimu. He got himself into a corner, didn't have his leap cooldown available to him, and quick collapse using the Pharah. AKM did not have a sight line onto that engagement. So pretty big mistake. You should know that Boston is likely to repeat this Pharah Widowmaker attack and plan accordingly, stay out of those sight lines, because the thing that Boston's composition can't do is contest the point until they get a kill. Not with a Widowmaker, not with a Pharah. So you play passively and force them to come to you. Dallas went to them and they get punished.
It's going to be a payload moving very quickly already for the Boston Uprising. Dallas will see what sort of aggressive defense they have set up for point B here. You can get aggressive with your positioning on this one. Still have AKM on that Pharah now. And Boston trying to push out through the choke. Chips staying back on the Zen, being very careful. They've got both support ultimates now, depending on how much they want to dedicate to this one. That Pulse Bomb, I think it got eaten. Dreamcasper, though, getting eaten up by Taimu's Lightning Gun. And Dallas does go ahead and use both of their support ultimates to try to put this fight together. Kalio's backing away. Yeah, they're just going to grind it out. There goes the rest of Boston. Going to hold on to the ultimates they've got and regroup.
Yeah, you're fine if you're Boston. You took point A with such a quick time off the first push. Go ahead, make them waste their ultimates. You're going to get a long push here on your next attack if you're not picked off right at the start of things. AKM nearly at the barrage now after swapping over his heroes. Dreamcasper wants an angle. He's looking for a victim for the barrage. He's going to find one.
Oh, a barrage into the barrage from behind, but then up comes a Diva. Dreamcasper finishes himself off. Doesn't matter too much, though, as Boston winning this fight handily, and Dallas shoved back.
Yeah, pretty big investment, though, from the Uprising, but trying to strike with a barrage first, predicting AKM would use his great patience from the side of Dreamcasper, who has consistently been winning these Pharah battles.
Well, consistently just one of the best Pharahs we've got in the league in general, and that's yet another reason why.
Yeah, he looks like such a star in Stage 1. It's nice to see him returning to this hero in Stage 2.
Yep.
So Effect and Striker, as Sideshow pointed out, still in these duels on the flank. Kalias, however, giving Striker some backup right now and forcing Effect back with the rest of his teammates.
Boston's got a lot of control over the rest of this point. Dallas scrambling a little bit. Taimu down again. Seems like he dies early every fight. A pulse bomb from Striker claims no victims, and now the duel comes in. Mickey down. Striker trying to finish Taimu off again. Somehow he got res, but he didn't last too long. Chips just delaying as long as he can with that Transcendence. They got the pulse bomb in onto Kalios' mech. That's a D-mech there. But now Striker unleashing the back line. Chips High in a little bit of trouble here. Gets some Mercy healing, and Striker has to back off.
Yeah, you're not going to get to touch the cart, though. They are going to take the point in the end. And look at Kellex. Valkyrie up for that entire fight. Neko and Kellex have been doing a great job of patience with support ults. And that's one of the big reasons Boston has had constant advantages in this fight, is their ult economy has been superior.
Stick on the Gamsu. He's going to go ahead and use that Primal Rage, though. It looks like no, he just lived. That helps. Chip Zion gets a kill on the Striker, so Boston pushed back a little bit now.
Yeah, not going to be in a position to resurrect. Kellex decides to save his Valkyrie instead. Custom moving, had to use the Valkyrie in that fight.
No rockets.
Valkyrie available for the time being, and now Boston's re-engaging.
Yeah, that's the plan. Got to get in somehow. Gamsu taking a lot of damage, though. Trying to get around to that health pack. Okay, he's on to Custom in the back lines. Custom in a lot of trouble. Goes down. Gamsu just walked up and fried him. How in the world do you get to do that? Boston with a couple kills already here, and it's all clean up. Dallas in so much trouble. Kellex brings his Pharah back to the fight. Nobody on the payload right now, but they will get it moving soon, you can imagine. There we go.
Yeah, starts to move. Custom falls in the back of the fight thanks to the help of the Orb of Discord. He took more damage than the Fuel were expecting. In fact, desperation Widowmaker right now. He's trying to get some shots out of the doorways, and he's gonna get Kellex. That is huge.
That's a big one to pick the Mercy off right there. Striker, Pulse Bomb not finding Chips, but the bullets do their work. And now the second support Custa in a lot of trouble. Striker makes it too, and Boston looking to finish this one right now off the back of Gamsu's Primal Rage. The payload moving, Striker keeping it headed towards the goal, and that will be it. Strong attack round for Boston.
Absolutely. Powering on through, very few hiccups on the map outside of one lost fight at the choke point at the start of point B, but otherwise Boston delivering a very strong push through, all the way through the map. Gamsu and Kalios both only dying once.
Well, that's not a bad stat.
Certainly isn't.
Feels good if you're the Boston Uprising. Dallas, though, on the back foot that entire round, right away from point A. And positioning seems to really have been the problem, and Taimu finding himself dying early in a lot of these fights.
All right, he's a new tank to this roster. Doesn't seem like they're building up a lot of synergy between Mickey and Taimu, or the supports and Taimu, so he's being focused down, and you have to believe that that's going to be Boston's game plan. They're picking on a player that is recently changed over to this position and does not have the necessary expertise.
I mean, pick on the new guy is very seldom a bad strat when you're running into a
Very
team.
true.
And although Taimu is certainly not the new guy in terms of Overwatch professional play, he's the new guy as far as being this main tank for the team. And you know, if you look at what they've got coming down the line, it seems like it's not a role he's going to need to do forever. And so Dallas just continues to kind of be in this really tough spot with their main tank department.
Yeah, and speaking of tanks, we look at Kalios. He won't be playing the Zarya. Boston sticking with what's working for them, having the Widow Tracer. This is the composition that they have overwhelmingly used in the past couple of weeks of Stage 2, and it looks like they finally have their timings under their belt, really know their positioning and how to play around it. Kalios standing on top of the Mondada statue to gather some intelligence on the enemy composition.
Just trying to make Widowmaker mad too. She's like, oh, I took that guy out, they built a statue.
Now you're bunny hopping on his head?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he's just reveling in the fact that he got that kill. It's in the cinematic, guys. Go back and watch anytime. Oh, Striker. Nearly eliminated as well.
So uses recall early. Effect actually controlling both Dreamcasper and Striker right now. So they've pushed.
Ooh, that's
they're
close.
pushing it. They're pushing them back off the point, and it has to be this slow approach.
Yep.
You need to get a pick off with the far on the Widow before you can commit to the points.
That was a tricky move by Dreamcasper there. No kill out of that one though. Dallas slowly moving towards the point right now. Effect trying to grab the high ground. No, needs to worry about Dreamcasper, but Chip's taking down Gamsu yet again. Killing supports, man. This guy is just support kryptonite for Dallas.
Mickey's gonna pick up a kill too. However, Gamsu and Striker are coordinating well to deal with the back line. Striker now takes out the second support as well. And he gets Effect, and he's going to get Taimu.
Dude, Striker is another one of those Tracer players that we've seen just improve massively over the last month or two. When Dreamcasper was starting to kind of have some trouble here in Stage 2, it was really Striker that kind of started stepping it up.
He's been playing fantastically ever since the end of Stage 1. And you see why here. He's got such great synergy with Gamsu.
Yep. Dreamcasper trying to finish Mickey off. Got him out of the mech at least. Kalios helping out there. Striker back to a bit of safety with the recall. Has to rejoin his team. They've chased down Effect, who tried to get aggro onto Boston's back lines, but it's really dangerous running into that back room as a Tracer. And they're gonna pay for it. Dallas push back again. This is starting to look a little bit scary for the Fuel. They've got ultimates now.
Now, time to get the res onto Gamsu too, so there's not even going to be the respawn edge for the Dallas Fuel. AKM trying to play this Genji once again.
Oh, he got so low there. One more shot from Dreamcasper would have done it. For now backing off. Dallas onto the point, trying to take it. Less than 2 minutes remaining on the attack, and now Chip's caught in the back again. Striker and Gamsu finishing him, and it's been Striker and Gamsu all day, man. Just making life hell for these Dallas supports. There goes Costa. I rest my case. And I think Boston about to put Dallas to rest in this series too, unless they can get something miraculous going soon.
What's happening, Doa, is the rest of the Fuel are going so far forward, the supports have zero protection. That's when Gamsu and Striker are coordinating to strike the back line. Then what happens is Taimu's jump comes back up off cooldown. He jumps back too late to help them, and he falls in turn. So Gamsu and Striker, they are doing work on the Fuel.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. Fuel charging through the hotel right now. They've got ultimates to use. They're taking a long trip. Whoa, they're going way in the back. Trying to come around the side, it looks like they used the Transcendence to get there. Now back onto the point. Striker looping around from behind. Onto Chips again. There's Gamsu yet again. The Gamsu Striker dive takes out a support. Kelix does fall, and Effect and Mickey really trying their hardest to turn this one around. Effect trying to be the hero here.
AKM's gonna go down with the Dragon Blade.
Oh, yeah, Striker. There's a stick though. Onto Mickey's gonna get demeched. That's going to be a problem for Boston, but they've got enough people on the point maybe to hold this one. Nearly a tick for Dallas. Taimu down though, and with only 19 seconds left, Dallas in panic mode.
Nearly back, but Effect may end this with a kill on the Striker. 5 members there. Dreamcasper on the Soldier now.
Yeah, that's right. AKM. This Dragon Blade, I suppose they could use it to take the point, but he needs to be a one-man army here. Oh, Custa just jumps in and goes down. Dragon Blade not even drawn completely. The blade denied, as is the win on Kings Row and the win in this series. Boston Uprising will take the map and go up 3-0.
This is great discipline from Boston. They know when to back off the point so that they can re-engage before the Fuel take it. They've done it multiple times in this map now, and that has really sealed them the win. And they're forcing the Fuel to make silly engages. Fuel used their trance, they burned it to run all the way through the choke point just to take out Neko.
It's been a rough one for Dallas. One more map remaining, though. Don't go anywhere. Gibraltar coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Zoe, and during the halftime break, our desk discussed AKM's performance on Genji. So at the end of halftime, I actually got to chat a little bit with the Dallas Fuel coach, Kai, who let me in on, well, basically why AKM is playing that Genji. Now, see, as the soldier player, it is generally, at the moment in this current meta, expected to also be able to pick up that Genji role. And as a matter of fact, this is something AKM has been practicing for 5 weeks. So even before he joined the Dallas Fuel for the Overwatch League, he's already been experimenting a little bit and channeling his inner Shimada. Now, I assume that means that we might see more of that in the future, but for now, let's look at map number 4. Will Dallas Fuel be able to end this match on a high note and take away this map? For all the action, we're going to head over to Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Zoe. We will see if Dallas is indeed able to end on a high note. But speaking of note, we have a sub coming in from Boston. And who do you think it is based on that segue? It's Note. We'll get him up on the screen so you know where. There he is. Yeah, Note. He's in. So Boston going to end with a note, regardless of how the map score finishes
definitely
up.
some sort of note.
There he is.
It is funny, though,
Yep,
because the name Note is actually a shortened version of his longer ID, which is not even blue, but he took it down to Note. So
really,
I guess it should technically be not E.
I don't know, man. Yeah, some of the names in this league, I give up. I give up, man. Note's good enough.
It's also going to be a one-note game, regardless of what happens to us.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Gibraltar will be our escort map in this 4-map series between Boston Uprising and Dallas Fuel. And interestingly enough, in stage number 2, Boston has only ever been part of 0-4s or 4-0s in all of their matches. When they lose 0-4. When they win 4-0. But it is important to note, no pun intended in relation to what we were just talking about. It's never going to end now, is it? That Boston's only wins in the stage up until today were against Shanghai and Florida, actually.
Oh, maybe they can just beat up on teams lower than them in the standings.
Apparently, no. They can. They've beaten Dallas here. We'll see if they can get the full clean sweep. And the woes continue for Dallas in the tanking department. And, you know, you and I were talking during the break, too. You know, where's Rascal?
Well, I think, as Zoe brought up, that they are expecting AKM to kind of pick up on this Genji, because it is important that you have that flexibility. And the problem is that when you're making that decision, AKM is a better soldier than Rascal, but Rascal is a better Genji than AKM, even though they can, I suppose, play both of these heroes. So I think it's really hard to decide which one of those goes in. AKM probably has fewer communication issues at the current point in time with the team, so maybe that factors into the decision as well. And there you go, the Orisa shield on it also.
You know, whatever you adhere the turret to surfaces with must be really strong. That is some crazy super glue there.
I'm more interested in the adamantium that chalkboard is made out of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very durable chalkboard. Hey, doing squats is good for your health.
So this is a change for Dallas. Now, they ran a similar composition last time with AKM on the Sombra, but they did have a Widowmaker, I believe. A Genji. It was a Genji instead.
Hey.
However, if Striker...
Time is back on the Roadhog, guys.
Yep. This is what happens. They like to run these Roadhog and Diva mixed compositions, the primary tanks, and they're back to what they were doing last week now. Except they ran the Sombra on attack, and now they are packing the Mega right at the start of the map. So a bold ploy from Dallas.
Mickey stole that health back from AKM. He had to wait for the next one to come out. Taimu taking a breather. There's the EMP. Why is that? I got EMP there for a second, too. Either way, Dallas Fuel off the back of the Sombra Ultimate, winning that fight.
I hate it when your mouth gets EMP'd as a caster.
I got EMP'd hardcore, man. That was a rough one.
Okay, so Dreamcasper now trying to find
so
some.
well
This has been a very weird Gibraltar. Definitely the weirdest point A that we've had in stage 2 since Gibraltar was added to the map. Cool Kapsu on the Orisa, gonna try and throw out that Dragon Strike with Dreamcasper.
Another one.
There's another EMP.
All right, Neko down already. Dreamcasper having to back away. The Hanzo not working into this for some reason. Taimu, meanwhile, on the Roadhog. And he's just been owning people. I mean, Taimu on Roadhog has been a great player-hero combination for a very long time, well over a year now. And it's always a joy to see him play this hero. Dallas playing this defense, very well so far.
Yeah, using the high mobility of this composition in conjunction with Taimu finding these hooks to make some big impacts. They are going to have to give up some ground now. AKM creeping around the line once again. Hook onto Gobsu.
Yeah, that's right, but that damage denied by the defense matrix. Now they're going to give him the nano boost, and he comes in with the whole hog. It's a nano hog, which makes it sound like a small hog, but it is big in impact.
It's a huge hog, actually.
That's right. It's still the whole hog, even if it's a nano hog.
Whoop. Now we're going to need to...
Uh-oh.
He actually got stunned at the end of that, so no take a breather. Yeah. Striker
McCree on the job.
Receives the resurrection.
Whoa,
well,
Dreamcasper finds both supports with that.
There's nowhere to hide at the end of the car wash if you can't get around that corner. So now they've got a very good, strong push happening. Boston trying to close out point A. They have a minute and a half left.
And Mickey just wants his mech back, goes and uses a self-destruct to avoid death.
AKM's coming around with another EMP. Let's see if he can get it. He can. He's going to try and take out Neko, but the healing from the Mercy is too much.
Oh, he was so close, but Neko stays alive. Meanwhile, pulse bombs galore as both Tracers pick up kills. Mickey, meanwhile, trying to do damage through the Transcendence. That's not going to work too well. Meanwhile, staying alive, Dreamcasper getting chased out of server room. They're doing a good job of playing around that big health pack, but that payload is there. I mean, yeah, you can stay near the health pack, but at some point you got to stop with the payload too.
You can play in server, but that doesn't actually help you stop the payload, as you say, Noah. Looking at this Deadeye, I mean, this is pretty easy. There's no chance for Chips or Custa to get out of that situation. They're too far away from cover.
Hurts bad. Well, AKM onto the McCree, not the McCree. I wanted to say McCree, but it's actually the Genji that AKM would pull out, and Dreamcasper saying, hey, here's what you can do on McCree. Don't you wish you were on this hero? Gamsu sends AKM back to spawn, so hey, he's got a chance to swap it up, I guess, but I don't think he's going to. Meanwhile, Boston Uprising steamrolling point B. They're cruising now.
Lost a lot of time figuring out how to get out of spawn, but ever since then, Dallas's composition fell apart, had to be changed when they were in the shuttle phase of this map to take advantage of the high ground.
Another Deadeye from Dreamcasper. Custa falls to the pulse bomb meanwhile. Mickey getting really low, nearly D-Mech. Dreamcasper looping around to the other side. Got to deal with the Transcendence on the Dallas. Fuel from Zenyatta. Oh, whoops. Flashbang into the floor there. Dreamcasper though fighting it out with AKM. Reflect comes in. Kellex pulls out the pistol. Gets AKM with the Mercy. Oh, the disrespect is real.
He's just finishing what Dreamcasper started on the McCree.
No, man, it was all Mercy. You take credit for those. You're the support player. That kill is 100% yours.
That was quite entertaining to watch as AKM tried to get back onto the shuttle. Neko may not have wanted to peek there. Taimu now returns with a nano boost.
A good fight so far for Dallas here. Getting their point C defense started. This is the point where you can get held on. Nope, no hiding for Striker.
Dreamcasper gonna switch back to the Widow now. So it's going to be a Widow fight, as we often see here on the final point of Gibraltar. There's so much verticality and length of sight lines for these long-range hit-scan heroes to use.
That time we're trying to hold strong as long as he can, but he gets low. Heals come in barely, just in time to keep him alive.
Yeah, holds his primal rage too, so that'll be important. Taimu.
See his gun.
You're
too big, Winston. You're too big.
Oh no, he's gonna have to use the rage now.
Is he? Gets the heals again. Yeah, there's the primal rage. Dreamcasper drops onto the low ground. That's a nice D-Mech onto Mickey. In fact, does kill Net. Oh, duck and weave, duck and weave. Mickey trying to stay alive, but he can't do it. Not with Striker there.
And the synergy just not there.
Oh boy.
Taimu's getting into the back lines, but he's never there with effect at the same time. It's not what we've seen from the Boston Uprising when it comes to that DPS tank synergy that is crucial when you're playing the Winston Tracer combination.
Yeah, Effect needs to do something about Dreamcasper. He needs to get back to him somehow. Dreamcasper having a field day. They're going to come in with the Transcendence. Dreamcasper gets out. Oh, no, he doesn't. Taimu roasts him on the way. And Kellex low, taken down by AKM. So finally, Dallas with a bit of stability on the point C defense.
Maybe they'll be able to outlast here with under 2 minutes to go.
Maybe.
On this defense. They certainly bought themselves quite a bit of time on point A, time that we don't see typically given to teams. Now Boston is returning with a Valkyrie and a Transcendence, so this is their chance to use the healing to grind through to success on the point. AKM needs to hit some shots.
Well, Dallas kind of split up half and half, trying to pincher Boston as they come in onto the point, but the dive is found out. Gamsu right there, of course. There's a way. The AKM winning the Widow duel against Dreamcasper.
That's
good start
huge.
for Dallas. Kelix gets stuck, and AK or Effect coming up big. Dallas will hold for a bit longer, only a minute now. The Boston Uprising.
That kill from AKM. Now you can't, if you're the Fuel, allow them to get to the payload. You have to pick them off first, because if they're able to use the AoE healing on the objective, that's where you're going to be in real trouble.
True. So Dallas on the verge of stopping Boston from finishing this attack run. They're getting close. 40 seconds remaining. Boston waiting it out. They got another ult. There's a nano boost onto Taimu. Trying to find people. Oh, but he gets eliminated. Good focus fire from Boston as they pop that
Didn't
Transcendence
use his
too.
primal rage.
No,
he
he
died
didn't.
so fast because Boston was waiting for him to come in. They had the Orb of Discord and the focus fire.
Well, it's been kind of a binary style for Dallas tonight. It's either, sit there or go in hard with Taimu in the front, and Boston taking advantage of that yet again. No demect. AKM down. No, trying to stay alive. He actually gets his mech back. In fact, he got the self-destruct kill on Mickey even, in Boston finally getting that big win on point C that they were looking for. Effect trying to be a hero yet again. And he is, by definition, in Overwatch, but not enough of a hero in this match to stop Boston from getting through. The respawn's coming in from Dallas now. Last-ditch effort to prevent Boston in overtime from getting 3 points on attack. Mickey demect. Effect gets back on the point, keeps it going for the moment. There's Taimu. Doesn't stop them, though. So in overtime, Boston will complete their attack round.
And you look at that attack, and because Taimu died, that was the opening that Boston needed to get to the payload with their double support ultimates. And that pushes them over the edge. And it was great for Boston to use that window, but you see that Taimu is not the most comfortable with his limits. That actually was the right play from the Fuel. Remember, you can't let Boston get there because you are trying to run the Ana, and you know they have both of their massive healing ults up. So go ahead, use that nano boost, try and stall them out, get some kills. And if Taimu had been a little bit faster to hit the Primal Rage, that's when you have a great situation for the team. The idea was definitely right from the Dallas Fuel, execution just a little bit off. But when we've seen tonight Boston get those timing windows, they have exploited them beautifully.
True enough. So now Dallas with what could be the final round of the match for them, looking at least to come away with a map win. And in stage 2, things have been rough, but they have not been 4-0'd yet. They did have one 0-3 match. At least they had a tie there in one of the rounds. But
yeah, last time we saw the attack from Dallas, it was Genji and Widowmaker together, and they may be trying to replicate this right now with Effect taking over the Genji instead of it being Rascal like it was the last time around with.
okay.
We'll see if this is going to be successful for them.
In the past when they first picked up Effect, I was talking to some of the coaches on Dallas back when they were envious, and I was like, all right, what does Effect play? And they were like, well, Tracer, but he's also got a really, really good Genji, and that's something we've seen off and on, but not as often as I would have expected with how much this guy's Genji was kind of hyped up when he came onto Envious initially.
Well, it's hard considering that you really do need him on Tracer.
Oh yeah,
most
such
of the
a good
time.
Tracer. Yeah. But here he is on the Genji. So Dallas on the attack, going for the Widow Genji dive. Effect scoping up that top hallway. In fact, and AKM looking through his scope. Find a kill or two. They've got Boston pushed back just a bit.
Some poking right now. AKM will peek too far and put his head directly in Dreamcasper's crosshairs. Custa is not going to have a chance to res him. Looked like he might make an attempt there, but Gamsu started to walk up and threaten that position.
True enough. Payload still rolling forward. Effect has to be that annoying backline threat to try to reduce what Dreamcasper can do. Kelix down. I think he gets a kill. He's been getting a lot of these. And the dive, but he's on his own. And he is going to get staggered a bit. Goodbye.
He's going to get the kills, but the problem is he also loses his life as effect.
All right, well, you know, he tried. You know, to Neko's credit, he did wait until the reflect was down to toss a bio grenade, but Effect getting that kill anyway. Good thing that Calyx was there with the res.
Gets a little bit of late reflect there. Effect not contributing to his teammates right now as they are forced back towards their spawn. Effect still in the shuttle bay, waiting for his opportunity to use this Dragon Blade. They are not going to try and clean him up, but now they are. Dream Casper is going to use the Infrasight, and that will pin him in the shuttle room for the time being.
Yeah, so the attention of Boston is split. So Dallas may be able to take advantage of that. There goes Note. Didn't have the mech. Meanwhile, Custa falls to Striker. So Striker, once again, getting those back lines, being ultra annoying on that Tracer. Calyx gets out for now. The payload's still stalled out. Here at point A, there goes Taimu. And Mickey, again, gonna get stalled a bit here. Yep, just gonna go ahead and leave him. Goodbye. And so Dallas, again, having to wait a bit longer to get the attack going again. And Boston now with a lot of ultimates to just sort of sit on.
Yeah, they ran into the Infrasight too, which meant that Dream Casper finally did get the kill. Over. And AKM wants to start playing with this Widowmaker now. Or Effect rather with the, kill into Effect rather with the Dragon Blade.
All right, Chipseye in a lot of trouble. Striker finishes him off. Good bio grenade from Neko actually. And now Effect with the Dragon Blade gets Dream Casper, but he needs more. His teammate AKM has fallen. Effect low health, has to get back on the point. He has to keep this rolling somehow, but it's gonna be Boston. Reds on a Dream Casper, and now the Widowmaker back again. Mickey immediately sniped off. And Taimu just trying to push people away with that Primal Rage, but it's gonna be so many kills from Boston at Dallas once again at the very end of point A, shoved back again.
Well, Dallas struggling with their engages. They've been scatterbrained onto where they want to apply the pressure. Sometimes it's Mickey going back in alone to try and pick off a support. Sometimes it's the supports from Dallas being left on the backside. Gamsu and Striker killing them as they try and run up to help out their front line.
The coordination just has not been there for Dallas tonight. Mickey again, D-Mech, now Taimu comes in, doesn't really have a whole lot of support. Maybe some healing from Custa. Now AKM coming in. Okay, that's something. Dream Casper feeling a bit of pressure anyway. Gamsu, meanwhile, Primal Rage on the cart as we see the battle between the supports. AKM up to the high ground. Dream Casper, oh, can't quite hit the shot through the blink here. Chips down. Striker finds another one meanwhile. And Boston getting those kills early, and now it's just 15 seconds left. It looks like it may be all she wrote for Dallas here in this match.
Yeah, Neko, Striker, and Dream Casper still on the payload right now. Effect trying to keep it alive. Dream Casper is nano boosted.
Nanomaker. Widow boost? I don't know. Oh, feeling it. And Dallas will get 4-0'd Boston Uprising with a very convincing win here.
Great to see Gamsu back. He does so much for this Boston Uprising roster.
No
but
kidding.
Really clean play today. Even that last fight, Boston committed all of their members into the shuttle bay on the defense because they knew that Gamsu was going to have his ultimate alongside Note. And when you have the Primal Rage and the self-destruct, they were able to use both tanks simply to stall them out and keep Effect and the DPS of the Fuel out of the fight.
I feel like this is the first time in Stage 2 that we've really seen that Stage 1 Boston Uprising.
It's really nice to see.
Impressed a lot of us. Yeah, in part, a lot in part, Gamsu being back. I mean, he and Striker combined on so many successful dives into the back line. Boston certainly looking to be uprising a bit here in Stage 2.
Really nice to see the addition of this poke composition to their repertoire as well. Was shaky at the start, but it gets better every week.
That's right. The desk will be up when we come back. See you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
It's been an up and down stage 2 so far for Boston, but they get a much needed win today. They improved to an overall record of 9-8, now 3-4 in stage 2. So it's been 7 matches. You got Gamsu back in the lineup. Today you walk away with a big victory over the Dallas Fuel. Let's talk about how things continued here in the second half, because going into halftime, it was 2-0. Dallas looked uncomfortable on a Genji. And again, it just seemed that Boston got the best of them. Where did things go wrong? Let's start here with game 3. What's wrong with Dallas on their attack?
I personally think that they did a decent job at trying to shut down Striker a little bit. They put an effect on like that man-marking duty. But as soon as it gets to King's Row and there isn't really a designated flank, at this point, they just left their supports and hung them out to dry. And there was just nobody stopping Gamsu and Striker repeatedly just ravaging their backline.
Let's take a look at some of the Striker highlights from this series, because this man, he started off on Volskaya. He continued it all 4 games. When you look at all the other tracers here in the league, where do you rank this guy?
Oh, that's a really difficult question.
I'd say top 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would actually have to write it out, because, like, I think I'd rather have Sabiobi,
Bunny or Munchkin.
Bunny, I think that Striker's potentially better than Bunny or Munchkin when he's playing on a team that allows him to, or rather playing against a team that allows him to flourish. Like, if he was playing on a level, a team that was the level of Seoul, I think Striker would be going insane every game like this.
I think he said this is the kind of player that can always reach, like, the #1 tracer in the league. He can have these performances,
he has that
so he
potential.
has that in.
Yeah, and he was just playing out of his mind. And I think half of this is just because Dallas were really struggling to find any answer, but he's going crazy. Every opportunity that's given to him, he delivers. Like, 3 kills, 4 kills,
he's really exploiting what Dallas is going through right now, which they have a new tank in the lineup. So Dallas is trying to do too many things at once, and I think it's very apparent. They're trying to go for dive. You're putting AKM onto the Genji. You have a new tank that's trying to build synergy with Mickey now, and then when you go for the dive, you forget, oh, we also have to peel for our support. So they're not doing both things right, and so it just looks really bad because they're not doing even one thing well.
And that kind of seemed to be the game plan for Boston. Dallas in the past hasn't always supported their supports. Let's just dive them and murder them over and over again. You just saw it in the Striker highlights, and when you look at the numbers here, it's not pretty. If you were Custa today, you have to be really frustrated with that pressure that was always in your face.
47% of Gamsu and Striker's kills were on the supports. So over nearly half of their final blows were killing Custa and Chips, which is, it's rough.
That's
being
crazy.
a Pinata.
Yes, and that points to a big issue with how Dallas Fuel are playing.
Exactly.
They're not protecting their backline, and you could see it. Gamsu and Striker are just kind of waiting. They poke, they prod, set up a bit of a flank, and they wait for Taimu and Mickey to use their movement abilities, because as soon as you've used that leap on the Winston, as soon as you've used the jump boosters, there's no way you can get back to the rest of your team. So they throw a little bit of bait out there, they wait for the tanks to come, and that's their moment to jump in. I think this is exploiting, as you said, Crumbs, the lack of experience on Taimu in the main tank role, and also the fact that Mickey's looked a little shaky recently.
Let's talk about map number 4, composition, something that we saw last week against the Mayhem on Gibraltar from the Dallas Fuel. They run it again today. Similar result with their opponent walking away with the victory. Can you talk me through here, guys? What's the game plan when you put a Hog and a Sombra on defense?
Right, and on top of that, you're basically spawn camping in Gibraltar, which is a bit of a question. Why would you ever start a defense here when sometimes people tend to defend way back at the point in the high ground? Well, when you're running the Sombra and the Hog, especially on this point, you notice how there's a lot of doors and corridors, especially with a big health pack on the right-hand side. So it's very difficult for a spawn, the attacker, to actually take out anybody in these positions. They don't really have any vision, and the Sombra can have a lot of room to maneuver around and use her own EMP, charge and harass the supports as they spread out. So it's a really nice strategy. However, it's not going to buy you the entire point. You're not going to be able to build enough ultimates and stall out somebody with a respawning advantage right there. So they just use this to shave off time, very similar to how we see teams running quad tank in Junkertown.
And another problem is you can't run it on the other stages of Gibraltar.
Right.
So as soon as you lose the first point, how do you get back in? You've got no ability to close the gap because you don't have a Winston. You just have to waddle forward as a Roadhog, and then you just end up getting chunked down. So although they execute that niche strategy really well, and that's the Dallas Fuel thing, you know, they have niche strategies, they make them work really well. But when it comes to the default stuff, they just get snowballed, and they end up losing the map. And this happened last time as well.
Dallas is still experimenting. We know OGE is a player they're looking forward to bringing on. He could fill that main tank role in the future. For now, they need to figure out who is going to have have that position for the remaining 3 matches. Before we leave today's matchup, though, between Boston and the Dallas Fuel, we got to crown our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. And he's back from Korea and better than ever. Gamsu was a monster today. I felt like every single Primal Rage resulted in a murder. Here's AKM getting battered around, and he did it just like Striker in all 4 games.
I think he had maybe 4 environmental kills on the garden space of Lijiang, so he was just popping off. And we've been highlighting tanks so much, and it shows how these teams benefit for it. And I get the feeling that as time goes on, the salary of the main tank is going to go through the roof.
Oh,
as
yeah.
Teams realize how damn important these guys are.
Yeah, and Gamsu was just playing absolutely phenomenally all throughout the day. As you say, the Primal Rage kills, that's a crazy amount, honestly, throughout the course of the series. To get 12, and then just the fact that he was choosing his timing so perfectly to be able to get onto the back line, realizing that there was an opening there. Very intelligent play as well from Gamsu.
It's great to see him back in the lineup. Striker looking better than ever. Boston Uprising, they're righting the ship so far here in Stage 2. They get another big win today. That's going to do it for our first match of the day, but we have something special coming up next. If you looked at the overall standings, it's number 1 versus number 2. Make some noise, LA. New York XL versus Seoul Dynasty is coming up next after the break.